Greetings and salutations. Here we are, another Dog Fight Sports. We're here today to talk about the Cavaliers, the Cleveland Cavaliers, who had just won their first playoff game in a series of 7. Wow, what a victory. What an ugly game to win, but a win's a win's a win's a win. And we got the win at home. At 1 o'clock start time wasn't very becoming, but a win's a win.
No, that was a rough start time, but hey, we'll take the dub.
Right, that's right. So, yeah, in the first quarter, they came out hot. They came out screaming. 5 for 5 on the 3-ball. They were raining threes. Got out to a huge lead. Everything was going great. And then all the TVs in the bar went black.
Oh, yeah.
There was a power outage, and we couldn't see what was going on. And while we were not watching, the 3-ball went ice cold. And we went down from a 5 to 5 3-ball average to 1 for the next 19 from the 3-point arc.
Oh, lucky we survived that. That's a bad stretch.
There was some ugly shooting by both teams, man. It just like Orlando just kept shooting, just throwing bricks up, man.
Oh, I heard they were like the Wizard of Oz. They could build the yellow brick road with all those terrible shots.
more bricks than a brick house is what you said, right, Nick?
Our house is in the middle of the street. Anyway, so welcome and salutations. We are Dogfight Sports. I myself am Nick New Name. I am joined, as always, by Ulysses S. Rant, a.k.a. Kyle, and we got Tito Roundtripper, Tito the Baseball Whisperer, and we're going to be doing a multi-sport show for you today. We'll be getting into the Cleveland Cavaliers and their impressive but also a little bit scary victory. And then we'll be going to do a couple of other sports, such as baseball, perhaps. You have a couple of items on the agenda for us there, Ulysses S. Rant.
Yeah, I do. I wanted to talk about the Cavs. I think they hit another gear on their defense today. Just looking at the final score, score was 97 to 83. So hey, you held the Magic to under 90 points.
Yeah, I don't know how much he showed up on the stat sheet, but with Dean Wade hurt, George Niang, he had a good game. He was pretty engaged and banging down there, and we're going to need him to step it up with Dean Wade out. Yeah, happy to get the dub.
It was good to see him playing some tough defense, man. You know, put hands in their faces. Don't give them open looks. And I think that's going to be the key is, the Cavs got to go back to that defensive game that they played earlier in the season. You know, they can't be slouched against the Magic.
Defense in the NBA, what's that? Is that like a newfangled thing?
Somewhat.
I don't think I've seen that for the past 20 years.
Yeah, depending on what day it is. Sometimes it's 1984 all over again, and you're seeing 130 to 129 scores. But yeah, now it's the playoffs. We will
know that yesterday that these are two of the most defensive-minded teams. So they actually showed up to play some defense today, as opposed to some of these games that look like every game's an all-star game and you're racking up the score. And
right.
The over-under is like, 250 or something like that.
Yeah, a few technicals were handed about. It already got chipper. It usually takes some time to build tension, definitely at least game 3, game 4 vibes with all these technicals and tension
I
going on.
saw a pretty shady play in that game. It looked like Okoro got kneed in the head pretty much intentionally by Wagner. Yeah, he kind of made it look like he was falling, but we saw what you did there.
Oh, yeah, I saw a play that just sort of got called for a shove that I thought was a borderline headbutt on Orlando's part. So, again, by game 1 standards, I would say it got quite chipper. So we can look forward to a very familiar series, I think.
It's gonna be a slugfest, and it might go the whole series of games.
That series of games, I think we talked about a little bit, but just to reiterate, the schedule maker really did us a terrible disservice on this schedule because we got a hell of a lot of these 1 p.m. games. So we had the 1 p.m. game today for game 1, and then they'll be on again on Monday at 7, actually live on John Wilkes Boofen, so we won't be able to cover that. Coming up, 7 o'clock game as well, and we will be down at the Crafty Crab down in Mayfield doing the coverage for not only the Cavs Game 3, but also the NFL Draft is on that day as well, so we'll be giving you a double feature there. After that, the Cavs will play the remaining as many games as are necessary, all at 1 p.m. So the schedule maker was not kind to us, and I guess we're the small market team, or maybe they think these games aren't of high quality. But I thought it was a pretty darn good game today. What do you guys think about the quality of the gamemanship?
It was a good game. Yeah, the NBA, man, 6 day games a year out of 82. So it will be interesting to see who adjusts better to this abundance of the 1 o'clock games.
Yeah, that's right.
Because, this is sort of speculation on my part, but it's not more than 10. I mean, the average NBA team probably played. Yep.
Sorry for that interruption, folks, but we are back again.
Right.
Yeah, but what you were saying, Tito, yeah, I mean, these NBA players, yeah, they're not used to these day games, and neither is us as the fans.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see, who adjusts to it. But yeah, I mean, I saw the Cavs pick it up another notch defensively. I saw them moving the ball well. I saw them making shots.
Mobley played really well.
There were a lot of bricks, but hey, at least they're moving the ball and they're trying to get the open guy. And I think having Strus, I mean, I saw him get a couple clutch rebounds there near the end. And Strus has got that playoff experience too. So, we'll see how it plays out. I got the Cavs winning this series. I don't know about the next round, but, yeah, I think the Cavs will win.
Hey, Tito, do you have any stats that you can pop up on the phone for us to see that final 3-point percentage shooting?
Yeah, let me pull that up there momentarily. I wanted to say Evan Mobley played a hell of a game, at least from a scoring standpoint.
Yeah, and
he hit his season average in points by halftime.
He's really going to be the key, man. He's kind of the X factor.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's a hell of a player, and yeah, with Donovan Mitchell and stuff, with him not even being the main guy, if he can wreak some havoc.
Mobley's really got to get in there and get the boards and put the points up, and it's going to be a physical series, and the Cavs just can't get bullied around like they have in the past against the Knicks. Basketball, it's kind of a physical sport.
Oh, yeah, back to the old days, the 90s, the bad boy era, and, ground and pound, smashing those rebounds and really getting into the physical game.
And I know kind of, newer, in modern era, it's more of a lot of threes and a lot of perimeter shooting. But, back in the day, yeah, it was get the ball to the big man, get the rebound, and that's kind of the way that I think the league's trending back into now is more physical play, and that's why you see, the good teams like the Knicks moving up. And so if the Cavs can't keep up, then they're going to be gone.
Well, how great was Jared Allen in the interior doing a couple of really spectacular dunks today?
Oh, yeah. He and I think that's the thing is after getting bounced in the first round last year, I think these guys are like, well, we're not letting that go down again. And so now they got a chip on their shoulder, and hey, we'll see, man. I mean, but if you look at the way the Cavs are playing, move the ball around, yeah, they missed some shots today, but hey, I mean, I think the Cavs brand of basketball is a good brand of basketball. Hey, don't get bullied and move the ball around. We'll see what happens.
All right, Tito, you got a couple stats for us?
Yeah, I don't have the exact volume, but we cratered down to 26.7% from threes. And obviously qualifying that with how we started 5 for 5, that we somehow pitted out to 26.7%. Yes, it went ice cold from 3 there. And I also wanted to mention lost the turnover battle by 6.
By 6.
So luckily we ran them out of the gym. We got to clean that shit up. Now 18 turnovers isn't a lot. I think usually, I don't know how that adjusts for the playoffs, but NBA average is something like 20. But the Magic only had 12, so without forcing any takeaways, we were lucky to beat them pretty defiantly. I was pretty surprised. That jumped out at me with the general box score, too.
You can't turn the ball over.
Rebounded them by 14, talking about banging in the paint. I mean, I knew we won the paint battle, but that's pretty defiant. 54-50, we out-rebounded.
Wow.
54-40, I should say.
Okay.
Yeah, we out-rebounded them, so...
And
we definitely had a clear mandate on the glass today.
Yeah, and that's going to be key is getting those boards.
Yep.
How great was it to have Donovan Mitchell out on the court, really making his presence known? And he actually really broke our cold streak because, like I said, we were 1 for 19 from three-point land in the middle of the game. Donovan Mitchell did hit a key three-pointer.
I remember that.
Game.
Yeah, it was a total clutch three.
Yep.
Yeah, he hit that shot, and it was almost like, I guess it was kind of like the dagger.
He said he was healthy, and he backed it up on the
But,
court. He looked
I mean,
healthy,
but
so
it's
it
just the
seems
way
like we got him
Donovan-
guns blazing.
I mean, Mitchell has a way of being able to finish games. And, like, you know, even if you're down, 10 points, man, get the ball in his hand. Who knows what will happen, man? And I think that he did good today, especially near the end there, man.
All right, well, let's give a cheers for Cavs victory, even though it was
Yeah.
kind of a
All
ugly,
right.
sloppy
We
type of
didn't
game.
like the time.
One in the
but,
books.
Hey, we got the dub 1-0. We'll see what happens Monday night and Thursday night, and hopefully we'll be up. Then we'll be done with the Magic.
I'd imagine the arena will be rocking Monday night, prime time.
Oh yeah.
With
Oh,
these
yeah.
prime time schedules
don't-
being a rare bird this series,
they
I
call it,
expect the crowd to bring it.
They call it
Game two.
Loudville. Loudville.
Oh yeah.
Let them know, and the Cavs will let them know. I mean, I hope they whoop their ass like 25 points or more.
All right, we got Kyle the prediction with a plus 25. The 25-point differential for the Cavaliers. You guys got anything else on basketball? Are we moving on to the next one?
I did want to talk about Caitlin Clark, but that's about all I got for Cavs.
All right, Caitlin Clark. What do you got on Caitlin Clark?
Oh yeah, I mean, this girl is just an amazing basketball player, and now that she's going to the WNBA, I think you're gonna really start seeing WNBA games on prime time. And so, if you, as a basketball fan, haven't really been paying attention to the WNBA, now you will, because Caitlin Clark is just amazing.
Oh yeah, they're breaking all kinds of broadcasting records. The highest watched game of the year, except for finals game 7.
I believe the women's final actually had more viewers than the men's, which is really cool, man, and it's great for women's sports. And
Well,
I can't wait to see what she does in the WNBA.
Well, yeah, they're definitely really great players. Not just Caitlin Clark, but like more great competition as well in the women's championship this year. I heard the field from the men's side is actually a little bit weak on this year. That the NBA draft is going to be one of the weakest classes in several years.
Yeah, everyone was posturing for Wembyana and stuff, and yeah, there isn't a. I'm not the biggest NBA guy, but yeah, there's definitely no Wembyana or prospect that the people are salivating over in this draft. It's crazy, the NBA, all the pundits always swear there's only 4 good players in the draft, but then somehow, obviously, the league gets populated, and there are, in fact, 15 or 20 good players, but yes, in these weak draft years, it's always, hey, there's only like 4 guys. If you're not in the top 4, you're screwed, and yes, it is trending to be one of those years in the NBA.
So do you want to talk about Caitlin Clark's contract?
Yeah, I heard she landed herself a nice endorsement.
I believe it was $4 million. Yeah, and there's some controversy whether she's underpaid, and you could talk about that any way you want, but the girl's going to make all the money in the world. And the thing is, like, you got to talk about, if you want to talk about, yeah, maybe she got it shortchanged on her contract, but I mean the WNBA just doesn't have the revenue stream and the viewership.
Well, no, not $4 million. No, she's got the rookie contract. She's going to make like about $70,000 a year.
From the WNBA.
Yeah.
The contract isn't much. I saw the meme. It was 5-figure contract, meaning south of 100,000. I don't know the detail.
Wow, I didn't realize it
and
was
whatever
that low.
figure shoe deal.
Yeah,
So yeah,
she'll get about 70,000 the first year, and then it goes up to like 74,000 like by the fourth year.
What's
she's
the
making,
total payout?
Well, whatever that is times 4, so maybe like 400,000 over 4 years.
Yeah, but once she gets going in the WNBA, like I said, you got to think about WNBA's revenue stream. They don't have the viewership, they don't have the followers. But once you start seeing that stuff prime time, and you get a lot more people going to the games, a lot more people watching the games, then you're going to see the WNBA blow up, and you're going to see, Caitlin Clark's going to get paid. And it's not just what money she's going to make from playing, it's also her endorsements and stuff.
I did notice Chicago drafted Cardoso, the 6'7" center from South Carolina, and Angel Reese. They had a 3rd and 7th pick.
Oh.
So they're doing like the femme version of the Twin Towers. They're stacking a couple of bigs. So there's a couple of plot twists in addition to the Caitlin Clark invasion going on with the WNBA.
I'm looking forward to the Summer Olympics, man. I can't wait to see what she does out there. She's an amazing athlete.
And it's just seeing some sort of a controversy with Antonio Brown right now. Like they're like having like some sort of a fight. Like Antonio Brown is like sending mean tweets.
I saw a mean tweet. I didn't even know this was recent. It's funny you bring this up because I was just catching up with an old buddy, and I thought it was dated at least 2 or 3 months ago. Maybe I got the timeline wrong, but I saw a mean tweet. And again, this is just quotes. This isn't me, but it's Antonio Brown tweeting to some sort of Caton Brown thing. Bitch looks like Mel Gibson.
Oh, my God.
So I don't know if that's
Oh,
progressed or not. But,
Oh,
but
God.
I saw that like 2 months ago, and I was like, oh, well, that could
I don't-
fester or turn into
I don't
something.
think
So
Antonio
apparently
Brown-
they're still jabbing at each other or
He,
something.
he
I don't
shouldn't
know.
be talking about anything. I remember when he had his freak out on the field and
It's
quit.
crazy. The guy's a 6th-round pick out of Central Michigan. Like
Oh,
I know
he's got
wide
talent.
I know, but I know wide receivers are known for being divas. But you usually expect that from like your blue chip 5-star top 5 guys.
Yeah.
It's like you would think if any wide receiver would be humble, it'd be a 6th-rounder out of Central Michigan.
the
but not
guy-
Antonio Brown.
The guy's got talent. Don't get me wrong, but
Uh-huh.
I think he maybe has some head injuries.
Yeah,
Oh, the
yeah.
CTE.
Maybe more than the industry standard.
Yeah, maybe more than the norm. Huh?
Well, I just thought it was funny how Caitlin Clark was like, "Oh yeah, I'm coming up, and like my star is being born, and like now all the haters are taking aim." It's like,
Yeah.
it comes to the territory, but it's unfortunate. Now she's like embroiled in some sort of like back and forth with Antonio Brown, like, "Welcome to the big leagues."
Yeah, I hope
Pretty
she.
much,
I hope
yeah.
she don't get caught up in it and just goes out and plays her game, man. I hope she don't get caught up in the drama. Go out and play your game.
Yeah.
So when do we have to? How long do we have to wait? When does the WNBA come around?
I remembered they usually timed it for like right after the NBA finals,
Oh, okay,
if I'm
so
not
we'll get a
mistaken.
couple
But I
months?
didn't look. Yeah,
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, we got her in the Olympics in July.
because the draft just happened, and there has to be some sort of turnaround with like training camp and all that. For the draft,
Yeah, John Tay Porter from the Raptors did get a ban from
Yeah.
the NBA for. I guess they caught him. They caught him. He had his hand in the gambling.
dumbass. 21,000 in winnings, about 76,000 wagered. So yeah, threw away. I don't know the exact numbers, but his exorbitantly lucrative, million something, more than $1 million. He threw away, I think, about $3 million to win 21,000. I mean, I know they say part of it's like the thrill and the rush, but was it such a thrill and a rush that you throw away a $3 million contract for 21 grand?
Even the best gambler's only going to win like 55% of the time. So
They did. Did you
it's
know
a loser's game.
they had the smoking gun? He didn't play that game, but the Cardinals bet on the Raptors 3 times, and they have the documentation. He didn't play that game, but still bet on them to lose.
Uh-oh.
And even though he didn't play that game, obviously opens himself to insider trading accusations, like someone else heard or someone else limited that he was aware of.
Yeah,
Like,
or
Now-
shaving points.
you don't bet on the league you play in, and then it's just the double no bet on your own team to lose. That's you're gonna have a bad time.
And
if
that's
you do
like
that.
Pete Rose swears up and down that he only bet on his team only to win.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, like when
It's
you're
still betting on your team.
well, yeah,
which
I know.
isn't good.
And if you're
but yeah.
betting, when you're betting against yourself, that just looks bad. Because like, all right, I'm just not going to try.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, like, I got
it's
the open
it's not a
layup,
good
but,
look in any way.
Oh, I slipped. Oops, I got to beat the spread.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like there's been a lot of gambling accusations
Yeah,
recently.
And I think he's like the brother of a good NBA player. So ultimate Frank Stallone syndrome there with Mr. Porter. Like, shame, shame, shame. You are not the good one in that family.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's other guys out there using bookies or the money goes through a couple of second hands. I'm sure there's other guys out there that are involved.
Oh, there's probably at least a conservative figure, 6 to 8 people in the NBA in every bit as deep as John Tay Porter right now. And
nailed.
is this going to be a teachable moment for them? Or are they going to just hang around until their ass is in the fire? We'll see.
I just wonder, like, what kind of investigations the NBA does. Like, do they monitor all the FanDuel accounts?
Well, this isn't going to lessen investigations with this Porter thing blowing up. So, yeah, like I said, some of these people ain't as bad as him. Get the fuck up now, out of that now, or you're going to be in the fire.
They do monitor it, though.
And
they do.
That's a warning, for sure. It's a warning to all the other players You know, what are you doing with your money? Don't be gambling, you know, for yourself or against yourself.
And not
Stay
all
out
of these
it.
guys are probably no-name 10th men. So, yeah, it'll be interesting from a fan of the league standpoint. Like, I know everyone likes a juicy story, but as a fan, like, I'd hate to see this actually bring down a relevant rotation guy. I mean, I'm not going to miss Jonte Porter. I'd never even heard of him. But check the newspaper in 3 days. It might be
Yeah.
a bigger name than that, and then
Yeah, it might
Right.
have
and then this will
more-
really be a story.
Well,
more betting through the translator.
Yeah, like Otani, and you know, and he swears up and down he had no knowledge of it, and he ain't involved. Which I hope as they uncover it more, he really ain't. But I mean, yeah, it just sucks to see these professional athletes throw away their careers over a slight rush of winning a little money.
It's the ultimate dime holding up a dollar. It's fucking maddening. But anyway,
What's
what do we-
that old
what else
saying?
do we got?
Penny wise,
Wise.
pound foolish.
Yeah, penny wise, dollar foolish.
Yep,
That's
there it
what
is.
it is.
And actually, just a little tidbit. I did hear. I'm not sure who the player was, but I did hear there was a player who was gambling on himself in NBA, and he knew when his health was a little bit too poor to play the entire game. So he would go in, he'd make a prop bet on himself. He would bet the under, huge bets on the under. He would come in. He would only play a couple of minutes because he knew he wasn't healthy enough
I
to
sprained
play.
my ankle,
Yeah.
coach.
Yes, and then
Yeah.
and then actually the gambling websites were able to figure it out. But there was a spike in bets whenever he would come in and he'd come right back out of the game. Like, oh well, there's been like a 1,500% increase in bets on the under on this player's points for the game. So they're able to track
Yeah.
all that stuff very accurately.
Huh.
Which I'm sure the players probably are not aware of. They think they're getting away with it, but they're just getting away with it for a little bit until the hammer comes crashing down. Then we got Pete Rose Part 2, Pete Rose Part 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and these players, man, you're right. They're throwing away millions of dollars just for the rush
Yep.
of trying to make a couple bucks.
And no, and there's a lot of opinions about Pete Rose. Yeah, it's bad what he did, but it is good to see him back. This controversial, but it is good to see him back around the stadiums. I mean, the guy leads history in hits. And he did have a real shady play where he pretty much tackled Fossey, a catcher from the Indians.
Back in a different time.
Ended the guy's career, pretty much.
But you know, that
But-
was pretty acceptable. As a Cleveland fan, you hated to see that, but by 1970 standards, shit was fucking physical. And,
Yeah.
you know,
You slide cleats up.
yeah. So, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think like the world just in general, just people don't feel as bad about Pete Rose anymore because everybody gambles on sports now. I mean, I was going to put $10 on the Knicks to win the finals, but $10 right now wins like almost $350.
No, that makes it even
The
worse.
Knicks
though,
aren't
because-
winning the final.
Because Pete Rose, Pete Rose did something that now we all do, and everything is
Yeah.
very accepted. It's like now he still can't get in the Hall of Fame.
Well, right, and that's because he was involved in the game, and that's the thing, and it always will tarnish his reputation, and it should because
It's
of
been
that.
a lot of years. He's got to get in the Hall of Fame eventually.
Yeah, well.
Well, let's hope he lives to be 100.
Yeah.
You know, that's like the Astros winning the World Series when they were caught cheating. Like, you know, yeah, you won, but we're gonna put an asterisk by it.
And now the
because-
Astros suck.
Yeah,
Karma's
they
a
do.
bitch. Justice isn't always swift, but yes, the Astros are pitted out and about the third worst record in the league. So everyone really waiting for them to get theirs. They're getting it.
Well,
But-
maybe we should get into some baseball. What do you guys think?
Yeah, so Guardians, man, one hell of a start. What are we up to now? 15 wins, 14,
15-6.
Best
Yeah,
start,
15-6.
15 and 6.
best
Damn
start
good
since
start.
1948, right?
No, best road start
Yeah.
since 48.
Ah.
15-6, I believe best overall start since 99, I read today. So, yes, a lot of milestones that we haven't hit in a while. We're playing really good. We've weathered the Bieber storm. No one wanted Bieber to get hurt,
No.
but
And we might have another winner too if we had him. Also, Jose has kind of been, kind of cold lately.
yeah, but he will get his. He'll get to his numbers.
I mean, I know
he
he's got
always
some
does.
RBIs, but
Uh-huh.
yeah, I mean, just imagine we'd have more if we had Bieber and Jose hot. We'd be even hot. We'd be even better than we are now.
Well, the whole lineup is picking up the slack and really
Yeah.
showing what they can do and putting on a clinic.
Yeah.
Hitting and pitching.
Yup.
Stephen Kwan. Man, that guy can hit. I saw a play the other night. He literally just kind of tapped it, just swatted it right in front, right in between two fielders to get on base.
He's so mechanically sound, man.
And dude, Stephen Kwan, amazing player, my favorite.
Most casual fans might be aware at this stage he's leading the AL in batting. A couple other fun Stephen Kwan stats. Obviously leads the majors, already 6 3-hit games. He's tied for the Majors League, already 10 multi-hit games.
Hell
so
yeah.
Those are a couple of fun or underlying Quan stats. He's just crushing it. Good bounce back year. He had a great 22. He had the proverbial sophomore slump last year, and yeah, he's put that to bed, and then some. He's killing it so far.
And also Arias, he's been having some good hits too, man. You know, and that's the thing is, we can't just rely on Jose and Naylor to get everything done. You know, we got to have other guys stepping up, getting hits.
Yeah, we're getting more production throughout the lineup, which is good because Naylor's been phenomenal, and we know Ramirez will get cooking, but. Yes, it takes more than 2 to tango in a lineup, so it's good to see us getting production out of some other guys.
Well, I think it might be okay for us to rely a little bit on Naylor because we got a spare Naylor, too. So we got, we got 2 of the boys.
And that game that they had against Boston, man, that they came back and they tied it in the 9th and then won it in extra innings. And that just showed that team. That team's got heart, man.
Yeah, well, we've already had a couple of plucky comebacks. I know one of them we ultimately didn't win, but weren't we down 5-0? Like,
yeah.
I think it was back-to-back days against the White Sox, and we won one and lost one. But just to relentlessly storm back from a 5-0 2 days in a row, regardless of what the final outcome is.
They hit it around the park, and they play small ball, and they run the bases aggressively, and
they're taking advantage of the wind tunnel.
Yeah, we're going to get to that in depth. But yeah, I mean, they're doing a good job. I mean, and that's Guardians baseball, man. That's the brand of baseball. Is just play the small ball, aggressive base running, and it's great to see it working out.
What's their saying? You got to keep your guard up. Is that their official saying? Is that something that's been
guards up?
And some of the pitching hasn't been so good lately. I don't think Bibby's as sharp as people were hoping.
We got a good outing out of Allen today, which is huge.
Good.
Obviously, we need more out of him, knowing what we know about our staff
Kate
now.
Smith is doing good out of the bullpen. But I mean, hopefully them guys can figure some things out. But it's good to see the Guardians off to such a good start. I mean, if you would have asked me that we would have this record, I would have told you that you were high. Of course, it's 420.
But happy 420.
Yeah, we got a stretch coming up, a 7-game stretch or 6 or 7-game stretch, back-to-back. Later in the month, maybe wrapped around to the start of the May with the Astros and Braves. And I was terrified of that stretch earlier, like preseason, looking at the schedule. But now it's like, man, we're mashing. The Astros are the 3rd worst team in baseball. I mean, the Braves are still a formidable opponent, but suddenly this Braves-Astro 2-step looks a bit more manageable. And if that's our roughest part of the schedule in the near future, then we've got it all in front of us.
Are those home games
we can
or
do
are
what
they
we can,
away?
That I don't know.
Okay, because if they are home, then we could, and if it's windy, then we might have the wind tunnel working for us. So this is, it's not a credit to me, but it was something I did hear about. And it's a theory. I don't know if it's really been studied. But I can tell you firsthand from my experience with the new architecture of the stadium, it does seem like... so what they did is they took out like 6 sections of seating. They took out the concrete in the right field.
They just left it open and flowy.
Yeah, and not only do they left it open and flowy, but they added like these they look like flaps. And then out in right field, they took out 4 sections of seating. So now we have the wind that was going through 6 sections of seating, now going through 4. And with flaps. And if you look how Progressive Field is oriented on the map, if there's a southwesterly wind, it's almost like it's conducive to it. And And I will say, I mean, there was a day I was at a game and there was probably like a 10-mile-an-hour wind, but up there in right field, even on the concourse, but especially in the upper right field, it felt like it was like a 25-mile-an-hour wind.
What?
And
That's
I
a
did see
huge
a homer.
increase.
I did see a homer yesterday in that game against Oakland where, man, I don't know. I mean, it was a windy day, but it looked like, and it went just over the fence in right field. And it looked like it was not going to be a homer off the bat. But it looked like the wind, really just kind of grabbed it and pushed it over the fence.
Yeah, you're cord hooked.
Yeah, we were talking about the wind tunnel theory. We were talking about the wind tunnel theory, Tito, and I was just saying how they took out 6 sections of seating in upper left field, and they took out 4 in upper right field. But if you look at how Progressive Field is oriented, like if there's a southwesterly wind, it's almost like it's conducive, the architecture, to blowing the ball. And not only is it like they took the wind to guide it, it's like they have these flaps too. So
And things have been altered on both sides, you said? Or is
Yeah.
It, okay. Huh.
Oh, I thought it was just out in right field.
no, major architecture changes to both sides of the stadium.
Well, that's interesting because, not on an extreme. There aren't really many extreme pitchers' parks or hitters' parks anymore like there were in the early 80s. But we do trend towards being a pitcher's park. Like I said, the lines have been muddied, but by most standards, I see studies like some long fly balls at Progressive Field. They're like, that would have been out at whatever 17 of the
different
30
stadiums,
ballparks.
yeah.
So we are, like I said, by the letter of the law, if you have to put a label on it, we're more of a pitcher's park than a hitter's park.
Now-
so it'll be interesting to see
now
if the
Naylor-
wind tunnel changes that.
Well,
or,
we know Quan bats lefty, but does Naylor?
yeah,
Yeah. So
most
here-
first basemen do. And yeah,
Oh,
he-
here- so here's-
Jose.
Oh, Jose's a switch
hitter.
Jose.
Yeah, but Jose, yeah, he could knock him out all day on. I mean, Jose has had homers on both sides of the plate in the same game. But I'm just saying, like maybe other than signing a slugger, we just do a little architecture changes.
Yeah. Oh, can't find a power hitter? Alter the wind trajectory.
Let's make a power
So,
hitter.
yep. Mhm.
So yeah, I was talking to Nick. Is it the Venturi effect?
So we like the wind tunnel. We're hoping
Yeah.
this is a positive development.
Yeah,
At the
until
moment,
it works
yes.
against us. And
Uh-huh.
Until the other team figures it out too, and just
Right.
let's just hit a routine fly
Well,
ball
like I
out
said,
there. And
I,
there-
I-
there she
I don't know
goes.
if the Braves are home or road, but yeah, so we're hosting the Braves, and Austin Riley and Ronald Acuna come in and each have individual 3 home run games during the
Right.
series. Then yes, maybe all of a sudden the wind tunnel won't be as cool.
We're gonna
So-
see it become like the highest scoring ballpark in the entire nation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jump from
No,
8th
it-
most pitcher
what'll happen
friendly to
is-
3rd most hitter friendly.
the other teams, they'll just load the lineup with lefties.
Well, then we'll just load our pitching staff with lefties.
Right.
but
Now
while,
we're playing 3D chess.
while I have my train of thought here on a stat, plus 48 run differential.
Yeah.
Okay, the
it's great,
supposed punching
great.
bag of Major League Baseball, the AL Central, Guardians, plus 48 run differential. Royals, plus 45 run differential. 2 AL Central teams leading the majors in run differential defiantly, by far. After that, it's the juggernaut Atlanta Braves at plus 34. So it's
Yeah.
crazy. We lead the majors in run differential, and the Royals,
Hell yeah.
outside of our division, we lead it by 14. I mean,
Yeah, it's-
we're killing it because run differential is always a good outlier. Like this time of year, you'll see some 12-5 teams fall off a cliff, and you're
Yeah.
like, well, how'd that happen? It's like, well, they were 12-5, but they were fluky with
and,
only a plus 3 run differential.
They're winning games.
But yeah,
Yeah, and we don't
are,
even
we are
have-
not a fluky 15-6. We have a defiant.
Right.
Good
And
run
we
differential.
don't even have Jose hot yet. And that's the
we
thing.
still have so much room for growth. Like I said,
Yeah.
Manzardo's raking, forcing his way up. Eventually, it's going to be Manzardo before DeLauder, but eventually
Yeah.
will be very relevant, and he'll be up this year. So,
You guys
Yeah,
thought-
and Jose typically gets hot with the weather.
yeah.
So
So factoring in people heating up and promotions,
Yeah.
room for growth, and we're already hitting good. Things are
Yeah,
looking
it's
great
gonna
on
be
offense.
it's gonna be a good
There's
summer to
just
go
still-
down to the park.
Things are great now, but do you guys worry about kind of a regression to the mean where
Well,
you got
yeah,
a really hot start, these guys are going to start kind of cooling off and kind of settling into
Well,
the
that's
league
why
average?
this big start in the bank is so important because yes,
Right.
of course, there's going to be bends in the river, and
I mean, they're on pace now to win like 100 games.
I love our pitching. I have faith in how our organization develops pitching, but obviously we're going to
Right.
be tested in
Yeah,
pitching.
there's gonna
I'm
be-
terrified of our pitching. We have so many injuries, so many question marks, and
Yeah.
that's going to be a problem. But
There's
our
gonna-
offense is overachieved, and hopefully our exceeding expectations offense can
there's
supersede
gonna
some of
be
these
there's
pitching
gonna be a
concerns.
regression, you know. But with us starting out so hot, I mean that'll give us some room.
And I was just wanted to get in about the schedule because I just heard the other day on the radio that the Chicago White Sox are one of the worst teams in the league, and we played the A's, and they're one of the worst teams in the league. So our schedule has really been like very soft and squishy for the first.
Yeah, but you
first part of
played
the season here.
Boston and you took 3 out of 4.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great get.
You dropped 2 to the Yankees, which sucks. But hey, they had a good comeback game against the Yankees. So, but hey, well, winning 3 out of 4 against Boston was good.
Yeah, all we could do is play who's been put in front of us. You know, we have not been swept. We've done some sweeping. I believe, I'm almost positive the Yankees is the only series we've lost. So, you know, we haven't been swept. We've only lost one series. So, even qualifying it with the cupcake schedule, we've done our thing. You know, like there's being 12-8 with a cupcake schedule, and then there's being 15-6. So, you know,
yeah.
yes, it's been a soft schedule, but I believe we have suitably capitalized on said soft schedule.
Oh no, I'm very excited about the start. I'm like, blown away because I was a little bit talking a little smack before the season started. Like, oh, we got the new coach. We got the hitting's not going to be great. But
Yeah.
the coach has been just fine. The hitting's been fantastic. So I'm just like, let's keep it rolling. Let's talk again. Like after another 15 games, and let's keep on celebrating these wins and show the team's the real deal when we come up against the schedule. It's a little more.
I mean, what if we go to
conducive.
like 30-10? I mean, and then we'll be like, wow.
We go to 30-10. I think we'll be doing some dancing.
Yeah, and like I said, the Easter game still gets in my craw with like 2 guys getting picked off, and yeah, that pisses you off from like appreciating fundamental standpoint, but still, ultimately, as an optimist, those are effort-based errors. So, we've ran ourselves out of a game or 2, gotten victimized by a big inning or so. So when you think about our great record and a couple of our losses, for lack of a better word, being somewhat fluky,
Right.
we're really rolling.
Fluke losses. Yeah, we're rolling.
They see me
Hey, hopefully we
rolling.
can get the
They
brooms out
hate
against
it.
Oakland, man. And it just, dude, we're winning we're almost winning every single series. The team's got a heart and can come back. I just can't wait to get back down here. I think we got Boston coming into town.
Yeah, we host Boston next.
Yeah.
I
So
haven't
we'll
looked that
whoop
far
their
ahead.
asses again, and it'll be great.
So as far as the pitching staff, do you guys want to go through the pitching staff a little bit? Or are we on to the next one?
I did want
Well-
to talk about the pitching injuries. Do you have anything you want to talk about the Guardians pitching staff, Tito?
Well, yeah. Ben Lively and Curry making their season debut 3 or 4 weeks in and each giving us 5 great innings. So encouraging. We still may want to make a move. Bauer's probably not realistic, but like throughout the league, I want to say Paul Blackburn of the A's, who are in town, off to a great start. And obviously the A's just can't wait to flip any asset for a prospect, especially if they're making more than $10 an hour. So Paul Blackburn, hot speculation. And yeah, I remember we were talking in the preseason podcast, any chance we make a move for a starter, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, hogwash, that's crazy. And now it's like, oh, maybe we do, We have a
now
abundance
that-
of prospects in the middle
Well,
infield and such
luckily
the deal. and
you had Curry to bring up. I mean, that's
Yeah.
great.
yeah, like I said, Curry and Lively have assuaged some concerns to a degree about the pitching staff, but it still might behoove us to make a move, especially if we can acquire like a Paul Blackburn or someone like that kind of cheap.
So and hopefully our guys stay healthy, and that's what gets me to the other point that I do want to revisit. I know we talked about it briefly on the last show, which you weren't at, Tito, but I just wanted to. So there's been a thing lately, like 15 of the top 35 pitchers in the league are out with Tommy John.
Yeah.
And
Crazy, man.
I just
As someone
wanted
who
to,
loves good pitchers, it's hard to see.
It really is, and it
It's
kills
just
the game, man.
Yeah, bloodbath of pitching
But I did
injury.
want to revisit the topic. On the previous show, I talked about how these guys are just all throwing their arm out because they're trying to throw hard.
Velocity.
But revisiting that and rethinking it, I do think velocity is part of it, but I don't think that's it so much.
Well, right. Also, like weird braking stuff.
Break, yeah.
It's just
It's
picking
spin.
your battles. Like I said, a lot
And
of
these
it,
guys are looking at analytics now, and they're looking at what their pitches actually are. And now they're torquing their elbow, and
Yeah.
and now the
man. If the bases are empty, you know, if you've got like a 3-run lead and the bases are empty,
Yeah,
and you're
yeah.
facing the number 9 hitter, don't throw out your arm with
Yeah,
your
right.
nastiest breaking ball ever. Like, just for lack of a better term, the generic cliche, pick your battles. Like,
Right.
sometimes you've got to sell out and throw something crazy.
right, the bases
and I
aren't
think that
always
they're just-
loaded in the
yeah.
bottom of the ninth.
Uh-huh.
Right,
So
you're
sometimes,
right.
yeah, these kids are just
Pick your battles.
overdoing it.
And so now I will say the Players Association is blaming the pitch clock. And I even said on air that I did not blame the pitch clock. But, again, revisiting the topic, one thing that I've been considering is, you know, when they get the ball back, that's less time for you to get set. That's less time for you to go into your routine. Less time for you to set up on the mound. Less time to get set. And if you feel like you're rushed, maybe that changes your mechanics.
Yeah,
now I
you're
know,
changing
see,
some angles by like a
but
degree
the
two
thing
or here
is,
or
though,
there.
in the minors and in high school, there's always a pitch clock, so these guys are used to it. So, but I don't know. Maybe if you look at the stats and see a lot more of your veterans are hurt, like Shane Bieber, then maybe if you see your older guys are getting hurt, then maybe the pitch clock has something to do with it.
No, I don't think so. I think
Yeah.
that they're using that as an excuse,
Right.
Because they don't like the pitch clock. They're like, look at all these injuries.
Yeah, an
the
excuse.
injuries. So the video I dropped in the group chat about the increased velocity, not just
See,
on fastballs.
I'm not a baseball pitcher, so I don't know like how long it would take you. All right, you catch the ball back, and you breathe for a minute, and go into your routine. You know, step on the mound, and go into your routine. So I don't know if them guys feel like they're hurried. I don't know. I would
I
love.
kind of split the difference on all this. I love the pitch clock. I'm a pitch clock guy. I'll entertain the thought. I'll bite. You know, perhaps the pitch clock is hurting a couple of people. And I just sort of take the callous approach, like, that is a necessary evil. The pitching clock's so good for the game.
Yeah.
Pitching injuries are so inevitable. So let's say
Right.
the pitching clock is
I
wrapping
think-
up injuries
all right, so
15%.
we'll say- yeah, okay.
Alarming, but whatever. The pitch clock's so good for the game.
Right.
I'll buy in. I'll say that the pitch
All right,
clock
so,
is
so
hurting
how about
people,
we say how
and
about
I
say
still
all
like
right,
it.
so we'll say that the pitch clock's maybe responsible for 15% of the injuries. But then I think a lot of it's just guys chasing analytics.
Right.
Break, speed,
And it's sort of, there's so many pitching injuries.
velocity, break, speed,
It's kind of a drop
spin
in
rate,
the bucket.
spin rate.
you
So they're
know?
just torquing their arms, man.
Yeah. Pitchers
All
are
right.
already dropping like flies, and
Yeah.
at the risk of sounding a little cold, if pitchers are already dropping like flies, if the pitch clock knocks one or two guys more off,
You know,
then,
and,
hey, that's
and
just the
we'll-
breaks.
Well,
That's
it's
how
a
it's gotta
domino
be.
effect.
Yeah.
It's a
We'll
domino
see how the
effect.
season goes on. I mean, and it sucks.
No, we
It's-
have enough data already. Like this video I dropped in the group chat that I'm not sure you guys got a chance to watch. That it's a direct correlation because pitching has gotten too good, and that's
Yeah.
why batting the game's gotten boring. I mean, like let's just be honest. There's way more strikeouts. There's way more walks.
Oh yeah,
there's
because the
more
guys
home
are
runs.
swinging for the fences.
Yeah, the whole
Everybody's swinging
three
for the
true
fences,
outcomes, no
three true
fundamentals, and all
outcomes.
that.
That's exactly. So especially with the spin rate, the pitching has gotten so good. Your batters have barely a chance to hit it, and so
Yeah.
because the pitching got so good, the game got kind of boring. It's not really doing much small ball, not doing much manufacturing runs. So they had to do something to make the game interesting again. All they could do was the pitch clock. Now these injuries, per the resource that I shared, that when you torque your arm and you get to the limits of human tendons, because you can
Right.
strengthen tendons just like you can strengthen muscles, you're pitching, maybe 20 years ago, you're pitching an average fastball will be like 91 miles per hour.
Right,
Well,
now
now the
these
average fastball is like 95, 96, and there's guys
Right.
hitting triple digits, 100, 102. When you put that much stress on your ligaments, they tear. So there's nothing that the pitch clock's going to have to do with that. You're putting
Right.
a ton of force, especially on your elbow.
Yeah.
And you're torquing
Bigger
it.
fish to fry than the pitch clock.
It's not
in
the
this
pitch clock, but-
injury
But
epidemic.
they're like,
Okay,
well,
for sure.
if we have these injuries, maybe we can use them to attack the thing we don't like, which is the pitch clock, because I'm sure the pitchers hate it, although the audience likes it because it's less boring. Let's be honest. Like when you get the game
Right.
moving at a faster clip, then
And,
there's something
and,
to watch.
and they did a study, and they found out that a lot of younger people aren't into baseball. A lot of people in their 20s. Oh yeah, as far as for the future of the game, yeah, the pitch clock is good because it makes the game a little shorter and it keeps the action going. And
Yeah,
You
it's
know-
got to happen. You know,
Well,
an
you
NFL
know, you-
game is 3 hours, and just the average human being, as they should, has it in their head that a baseball game's shorter than a football game. And things had gotten out of hand prior to the
Yeah.
pitch clock
Yeah.
and these rules and shit a few years ago. Your
And
average American League game,
the
it's
thing
swollen to
is-
like 2 hours and 50 minutes. And
Right.
that's just not
Yeah.
okay. Because it's
And-
like we have the bandwidth and attention span, generally, the average American, to watch a 3-hour football game. A 3-hour
Right.
baseball game, not so much.
You know, and then another thing, it's like the nets going up around the stadium that they did league-wide. I mean, you go to the games now, you know, in between pitches, people are staring at their cell phone. Oh, and a slugger comes up. Hey, you're going to get dunked by the ball.
Going like 110 miles per hour off the bat. And it's
I
gonna come
remember
right
it
for
was
your face.
Miguel Sano, man. I was at a game, and
Oh, he had some fierce extra
he
velocity. when he connected.
well, luckily there wasn't a lot of people at the game I was at, and I jumped over. I seat jumped over a section, but my buddy was in the same section as me. I mean, not in the same section, in the same row, but a section over.
Ah.
And this ball probably came off this bat, Tito, at like probably 110 miles an hour.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And I just remember thinking, like, dude, this is eye level at me, coming quick. And luckily, I realized it wasn't going to hit me, but I knew it was going to go into the next section. And luckily, it hit an empty chair just below my buddy.
Wow.
But then it hit the chair and bounced and hit an old lady.
Ooh.
And I remember she got donked, and she stood up, and she was like, the ball hit me, and she was all right. I mean, I didn't really see any visible injuries, but luckily the ushers and the staff got to her. But yeah, I mean, like you said, the attention span and people on their phones, and the pitch clock is good for the game because it shortens it, and also having the ghost runner on second. As much as I hate it,
Nah, I hate it. I hate it. I hate
Yeah.
it so much.
yeah, I hate it too. But
I like a good bunt. I'm okay with it. It leads to whatever, 10 or
people,
15 more bunts a year.
and I was at a game that
I
went
wouldn't
like
say I love it, but I
was at
like
a game,
it a little.
I was at a game that went 15 innings. I believe it was against the Twins about 2 years ago, and it's when we had the ghost runner on second, and it was just crazy because like we would knock the guy in, and then they'd knock the guy in, and or we wouldn't, and they wouldn't. And
I will say, like, the stats geek in me, I'm amused by the Ghost Runner. I personally like the Ghost Runner. Like, I like a good bunt and some small ball. It leads more of that. But, like, logistically, does it shorten the games? Automatically putting a guy at second base? Like,
Probably.
well, yeah,
Probably.
I would
okay,
think.
I'd be interested to see some studies because it's like it's a level playing field.
It
Like
is.
I don't get how that shortens the
Well,
game.
Look, it's
well,
so
that,
much
if the
easier to
if
run
the
in.
if the away team don't
For
get the
both
guy
teams,
in,
though,
the
and then
home team-
sometimes each team ties up, and they just keep
Right.
battling out to like
Yeah.
the 16th. And
Yeah,
then
but
that's
if,
not shortening
But if the
game.
away team doesn't get the guy in and then the home team does, it's over.
right, yeah, okay,
So,
it is shortening the games. All right,
yeah.
fair enough.
Well, because you see these games that go for like hours and hours. You're burning through like your entire bullpen. Like, all right, get the next starter up, put him in, and
Yeah,
pitch,
or
like,
they
2
put in a
full games.
position player.
Yeah.
and
That's
and
always
the thing,
funny.
And yeah, and it taps out. It taps out the bullpen too.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then-
it seems like we're getting away from that position players pitching, which
And
is
I
too
remember
bad. 'cause
at that game-
that is always a fun fish out of water.
I mean,
man.
at that game I was at, that I believe it went 15 innings. I remember they did a 14th inning stretch.
yeah, no, the Rays playoff game 2 years ago, I remember that, singing Take Me Out of the Ball Game. That was in my first reel. It's like, I'm ready to sing Take Me Out of the Ball Game twice, because, yes, they did that once it was the seventh inning times two
I didn't
for
know the
14th
14th
inning.
inning stretch actually existed. And I remember, I mean, I was with a buddy, and I think we sobered up. I think we sobered up by like the 11th inning, but a lot of people left. A lot of people left after like 9th and 10th inning. So we moved down to like the front of our section. We were sitting right on the rail, And that's the thing about attention span and the length of the games. But I'll tell you what, man, people ain't sitting around for 3.5, 4 hours anymore,
Right.
man. People ain't got the time, and they're just not interested.
While I'm thinking about it, shout out to all the diehards who went to the Captains game today. I live right by the Captains Stadium, and admittedly, it was too cold for even the baseball whisperer to watch single A baseball. But the scoreboard was lit up, and there were a few butts in the stands, so they did have a few diehard people out there.
You just got to get the beer coat going.
Yeah, it was a crisp, breezy 47. And,
Yeah.
yep.
I mean, the wind was a little. I mean, it was a nice day yesterday when I was down at the park at the Progressive. But with the wind, man, yeah, it was a little chilly. But it's just great to have baseball back, man. And I'm glad the Guardians are doing so well. I can't wait to see how it plays out. Hopefully, we can beat Boston.
Yep. Around the division in the
Dude,
AL
that one
Central.
pitcher they got, Hauk,
Yeah.
he's good.
He really emerged, yeah. This dude in my fantasy league tried to trade him like 80 times last year, swore he'd be a stud, and no one cared. No one paid any attention to him. Turns out he was right. He was just a year early. Because, yeah, man, that Hout guy, disgusting.
But
He's
I
got like a
believe
0.4 ERA and stuff.
Boston did have a lot of errors and things. So they're just beating themselves. But, hey, the Guardians, they run aggressive. And, hey, if they can't field the ball, then take advantage. I don't know if producer Nick had anything else he wanted to mention. I think we did cover all the topics. We are talking about the NFL draft on Thursday, and I believe we are going live from the Crafty Crab in Mayfield. And there's also a Cavs game that night. So that'll be fun. Hopefully the Cavs get another dub, and we can cover the draft. I believe the Browns have a late second-round pick. I don't know the number, but hopefully I'm thinking the Browns, they probably need to get a linebacker. And hopefully somebody good falls back that we can grab. I believe they did pick J.O.K. kind of actually down in the draft. I think they traded up to get him, but he wasn't.
He was a second rounder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
There's great value with how linebacker isn't the most glamorous position. There's good
right.
value in the
well,
second round of
the
linebacker.
league wants offensive linemen. Well, not as a priority.
You have left
They
tackles, wideouts, defensive ends.
Yeah.
That's the glam spots these days.
Hey,
Our producer looks pretty pumped that they're playing Hulk Hogan's theme song now. But I guess
Well,
we all
'cause he
are a
played
little
it.
bit. Oh, well, then, yeah, of course.
hey, Nick. We were just talking about the NFL draft.
Oh, yeah.
So the Browns have a late second round pick. So me and Tito were just saying maybe we need to get a linebacker.
That's the word around town that linebacker would be good.
And me and Tito were just hoping, hopefully somebody will fall in the late second round, and then we can just grab them up.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe the Browns will make a trade up. You never know, man. Andrew Berry. You never know.
No, they don't have that much draft capital to be working with.
Yeah.
I
You're
know.
talking about compromising the 2030s if we flip much more picks.
Yeah, I know.
Let's not do that.
I know,
we're not even at the halfway mark
we
of
traded
this decade.
we traded the farm and the future of the farm.
Oh, yeah.
And all the seeds we had in the barn.
Yeah, we traded the farm,
Scorched earth.
and the barn.
Yeah.
we sold the future just for Deshaun.
Yeah, well, Deshaun. I love talking about Deshaun and how much he's going to set us back 10 years, but, I mean, we got him, so I guess we got to see if he's going to be worth it.
And I did hear he is throwing again, and he's back at it, so we'll see.
Yikes. But as far as the draft, yes, I mean, we might have to trade up into the second round. I mean, what do we have left? We gave away our 6th and 7th round for Judge Judy. We gave away the King's Ransom for...
I think we have like a second and 1 or 2 stray picks. I think that's about it. I don't know what those stray picks are, but I think we have 2 or 3 picks. So we have a second and just another crumb or two.
Yeah, okay, so I guess
That's
we
about
got like
what
We
almost
got
nothing.
crumbs.
We might as well just wait and see what falls to us. If we have almost nothing, like just don't
Yeah.
start manufacturing these packages. Like, just take a step back. Just pick the best, whoever the hell available, best linebacker available, in the second round, and whoever else you can get, because like we're like so depleted, we don't have much at all to deal with. So it's going to be a pretty boring draft Cleveland wise, but there's still probably going to be some spectacular trades being made by other teams, and we'll see who's dumb enough to trade up and try to get the first pick, and who's going to get their franchise quarterback that's going to turn out to be a dud. So there's plenty of fun stuff that'll happen.
One footnote on the draft. I saw Vince Tobin just passed, former Colts executive, and anyone old enough to remember that hilarious beef when the Colts had top 5 picks of the 95 draft, and Mel Kiper was screaming for them. I think it was Trent Dilfer to take.
Yeah.
And they took like 2 defensive players. Maybe that was the Steve Ettman, Quentin Coriat draft. Maybe that was something else. But either way, that was just legendary. Like back before there was a 24-hour like media sports drama cycle or whatever, that draft beef with Vince Tobin and Mel Kiper. And I just wanted to revisit that. It's natural to do that after one of the parties from that passes, and that's some good film to pull back when, back before there was good quotable sports drama. That was a good one. The whole just calling each other idiots on camera and stuff. And by mid-1990s standards, it got pretty chipper as far as the whole Vince Tobin, Mel Kiper draft room debate. That was a fun one.
Did you guys want to talk about O.J. Simpson at all?
We did mention him on the John Wilkes Boothman last week, but mostly we were talking about his rap sheet.
I did hear he had 2,000 yards in 14 games.
Damn, that's a hell of a stat. Yeah, we didn't get into many of his football stats, so you want to talk more about the sports aspect? We talked more about his legal aids last time.
So, and I know he got acquitted because of that glove, but I heard the glove was actually wet, or had been wet. And so then he got in trouble for stealing sports memorabilia.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Wasn't that his own stuff?
It was, yeah. We know that.
His
sold
Heisman
it
trophy,
and then
right?
stole it back.
Yeah, he sold it. He said he didn't
Oh,
want
he
to steal
sold it and then stole it. Okay.
He's like, instead of giving him the money back, he's like, well, I'm just gonna get a bunch of guys to beat you up and steal it back.
Right.
Oh man, yeah, I didn't know that whole backstory.
Hey, shout out to Norm Macdonald for all those hilarious Weekend Update jokes. It cost him his job, but hey, he knows when something's hilarious, and he kept beating that dead horse. And man, speaking of good mid-'90s clips, the Vince Tobin, Mel Kiper draft feud, and yes, Norm Macdonald's O.J. Simpson joke. Also really funny.
So real quick, what do you guys think of Mel Kiper? Some people think he's a genius. Some people think that he's way off.
I love the guy, man. Like, it's funny because it's like, I hate Mel Kiper, like, weaselly, slick-backed hair troll, and it's just like, I picture him like a WWE heel. It's like, you mean he's doing his job? Yeah, I'm a big Mel Kiper guy. For better or worse, he'll stir it up. And, if
you always got to have a heel to
if you want an active dialogue, Mel Kiper will give it to you.
You're Kevin Nash, man. You're Kevin
I
Nash.
check in as very pro Mel Kiper.
Well, Mel Kiper, he's sports entertainment, but I feel like every time he does his big board, the draft board, who he thinks people are going to take, a lot of times it's way off. It's like, oh yeah, I think it's going to be top 5 picks, and like, nope, tons of trades, tons of shakeups. But you can't possibly predict the trades. But his boards sometimes seem to be like way wacky and zany.
He's
so far
wrong
off.
a lot, so it's like, does he have more pull than anyone else, or can no one else do it better? Because I love the guy, but I will admit he's wrong a lot.
Yeah.
So it's like, yes, does he just have that gig locked up, or can no one do better on that board?
He's got the Riz. He's got the Riz. He says it with conviction, even if it's wrong. He's pounding the table.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. Well, he's
the old not what you say, how you say
yeah,
it.
exactly.
Yeah, okay.
I think Bronny James is going to get picked first overall. I'm 100% sure.
yeah.
But yeah, I want to put in for the draft, we got not really a Browns heavy draft this year, but for many years the draft for Cleveland fans was akin to our Super Bowl because we were always so terrible.
Yeah, you go 2-14 and you have that juicy pick. Yeah, your draft is everything.
Number one pick, going 0-16. Let's get that number 1 pick.
Yeah, let's draft Johnny Manziel. I remember.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was like year after year. It was like the draft was like our only hope. Like now we're actually good, so we don't actually have to rely so much on the draft.
Well, we're good, but also we just shipped all our draft picks off. So not only are we having low draft picks for being pretty good in the standings, but also where did all our draft picks go?
Like I said, we sold the farm, we sold the future of the farm, and we sold the seeds.
Yeah. Right. Do you guys have an eye on any team to make any big draft day moves?
I don't know. Actually, it was interesting. Okay, we've got the Bears 1 and then the Commanders 2. And I did want to say I'm not the biggest football guy, but I heard on good authority that the Bears turned down a king's ransom. The Commanders wanted to flip from 2 to 1, and the Bears were like, no.
What
So
dumbasses?
I would assume, yeah, and you're right. What dumbasses? Because I'm not. I believe Caleb Williams is the top pick, but I don't believe there's a clear mandate.
No.
So yeah, I think it's kind of crazy how the Bears got offered that war chest and turned it down
to go move down one pick.
Yeah, because
Oh,
most
my God.
mocks have 4 quarterbacks in the top 6. So how in love?
Right.
Yeah, shame on the Bears. How in love do you got to be with Caleb Williams to turn that down when there's seriously 4 clearly graded top 10 quarterbacks?
believe-
It kind of
and
blows
you're
my
gonna get
mind.
Paid,
The
paid
Bears-
mad money, mad picks.
The Bears organization brought in a coach who used to coach Caleb.
Okay, I figured there was
Yeah.
some
They're
kind
all
of
in.
buddy ball or
Yeah.
something
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
Because I'm just like, man, like,
He's probably already buying his house there. He
Yeah.
knows where he's going.
just to put a number on it, I feel like Cade Williams is like 5 to 7% ahead of this loaded quarterback field. So, like, why wouldn't you take a war chest of assets for him? But yes,
So-
I guess there's a
Yeah.
plan in place,
There's
and
a
they made
plan
up their
in place.
mind. And,
Some of these football guys, there's like, they get it in their head. I got the guy I want my guy. Where
Right.
It's like there's been many studies that have shown that the teams that trade up and pay like these king's ransoms for these players, statistically, they're not going to get nearly back what they gave away. And if they do happen to strike lightning, it's very rare. And most times they're paying up all this money, all this draft capital, and
Yeah.
they end up with a stinker.
Yep, the generic well I
You know,
always
and-
go to with that point is RG3. He literally won 1 playoff game. They sold 7 to 9 years of their future for him, and he won 1 playoff game. And again, that's just one generic example, but to back up your point,
Yep.
more often than not, that's what happens when you sell the farm for your guy. You win 1
Yep.
fucking playoff game, and you set your team back 8 years. So was that worth it? Was it fun? I don't think
Well, on
so.
the flip side of the coin, I feel like the Browns for like a decade kept on trading down. It's like
Right, yeah, we
accumulating,
overcorrected.
accumulating, and that's why we finally got in the era now. We accumulated everything. We finally like, all right, let's spend it all. So this current regime, everyone's like, these guys are like the good guys, and like they're smart, they know about football. That's why our team's pretty good. Okay, but all your predecessors were building up this humongous chest of picks and assets, and you came forth and you're like, I guess it's time to spend, baby, spend.
Yep.
So it's kind of like the ebb and flow.
Empty those cupboards.
Yeah, and, you know,
Do
and,
that,
and I'm
dude.
a little surprised that the Bears let Fields go. I mean, guy's just a great football player.
They let him go for a song. They really didn't get much.
Right, and now he's going to be a backup quarterback for Russell Wilson.
Yeah,
Russell
for like
Wilson,
2
yeah.
weeks.
Yeah, I know.
Dude, I saw on the website, it's from some, my girlfriend's from the Pittsburgh greater area and whatever. So unfortunately, there's some overlap with some Pittsburgh fans on my social media. But anyway, it was Russell Wilson at a Pirates game, and it was all these Pittsburgh people all pumped up, like, he's immersing in the community, yay! And it's just like, yeah, whatever. He's washed up. You guys are gonna hate that asshole by week 3.
And what is it?
If he was awful
that'll
in
be-
Denver, he'll be egregious in Pittsburgh.
and the Broncos
Look
are paying
at-
him like what, $84 million to play against them?
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, if that's not a red flag, what is?
Right? They're like, yeah, we'll pay $84 million to
Yeah.
get rid of you.
Yeah, that's just a bad look for Russell Wilson.
And that's another
When you get
trade
paid to go away, that's bad.
And that's another trade that went super bad. Like the Broncos gave up a ton for Russell Wilson, and I feel like they're regretting it hard now.
And dude,
so.
they're doing it again. You want to talk about the Broncos? Patrick Surtain's a beast. They're talking about dangling Patrick Surtain and a bunch of picks. I don't know where the Broncos are in the draft. I think that they had like an improbable baby winning streak, so they're not ready at the top. But I guess they're desperate to move up into that top quarterback
Yeah,
range.
oh, God.
They're dangling Surtain and a bunch of picks. And like you said, they just went down that road and got burned to the ground. And yeah, they can't wait to
Right.
step on their own dicks again. it's fucking crazy.
These GMs,
So,
I feel
yeah.
like sometimes, well, you can't say anything better than you just did.
Yep.
Just step on their own freaking dick.
Yeah. I mean, football is my third most knowledgeable sport by far. But yes, I know atrocious upper management when I see it. And Denver, You're a dumpster fire.
Dumpster fire.
Hey, at least it's not Cleveland right now.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah,
Dumpster
it's good
fire
to-
bigger than
Good
Cleveland.
to look at that shoe on another foot. I'll drink to that.
You got anything else for us, Kyle?
You know, I think we covered all the bases. We talked Caitlin Clark. We talked John Dane Porter. We talked O.J. Simpson. We covered the Guardians. We talked about that great comeback they had against Boston.
Oh, yeah.
We talked about the wind tunnel theory.
15 more wins to go for the Cleveland Cavs. Don't buy into the national narrative that Donovan Mitchell's as good as gone. He's balling. He's engaged. And we're going to do what we can in these NBA playoffs. That's my final thought on things.
We talked about pitching injuries. We covered the Browns.
Thank you.
Hey, all right. Very nice. Yeah, very cool. All right, well, yeah, thank you very much to all of our new subscribers, our new viewers. We have been Dogfight Sports, the DAWG. We will be back live again this Thursday from the Crafty Crab in Mayfield for Cavs Game 3 and also the aforementioned NFL Draft. And we'll be seeing all those trades, and we'll be doing commentary. And we'll probably be checking out the game and maybe giving you some timely updates. But I have been Nick New Name. Of course, as always, we got Kyle,
Yes.
a.k.a. Ulysses S. Rance, Tito the Baseball Whisperer, Tito Round Trippers.
And thanks for watching, guys. It's going to be great to see what the Cavs do these playoffs.
Yep, great time to be a Cleveland sports fan.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hang out and enjoy the ride.
You guys want to bark it out?
Yep.
Yep.
All right, Dogfight Sports.
Oh.